You paid $500 for a Taylor Swift ticket. The woman whose name is on it, the only reason that seat is worth anything at all, keeps about $25 of those dollars. The other $475 gets taken, one quiet cut at a time, by people who were never anywhere near that stage. So where does it actually go? Here's the strange part. The company everyone in that stadium loves to curse, Ticketmaster, isn't even the one who took the biggest slice. More than 10 million people went to this tour, and it grossed over $2 billion. Almost none of those fans know who really walked away with their money. By the end of this, you will. Let's start with a number that shouldn't make sense. When Eras Tour tickets first went on sale, the official face value ran from about $49 to $449. The fanciest VIP package topped out around $899. And here's something she rarely gets credit for. Taylor Swift refused to use dynamic pricing, the surge trick that lets a ticket's face value climb to whatever the market will pay. She held her own prices down. One estimate says that choice left around $1.5 billion on the table. Think about that. She actively chose to charge fans less than they were willing to pay. The catch is that when an artist holds face value down, the gap between what a ticket costs and what it's worth doesn't disappear. It just gets handed to whoever resells the seat next. Cheap face value plus desperate demand is the exact recipe that built the biggest resale market in concert history. So if face value stopped at $449, how did the average resold ticket reach $3,801? That is not a typo, and it isn't the worst seat in the house. That's the average. It's up about 2,300% from her last tour, where a resale ticket typically went for $157. Then came the 2022 on sale, when Ticketmaster's site buckled under the demand and millions of fans got shut out entirely. Most of the people who ended up paying $500 never got near a face value ticket. They bought resale, and that single fact rewrites where every dollar goes. If you like seeing exactly where your money lands every time you spend it, that's the whole job of this channel. One price taken completely apart every week. Subscribe so the next one finds you. To see why resale matters, you first have to watch how the money is supposed to move on a normal primary ticket. Picture $500 paid straight to Ticketmaster. Roughly $390 of that is the seat's actual face value. The rest is fees. Now follow the face value. For a superstar at this level, the split is wildly in the artist's favor. The headliner takes somewhere around 85% of the net box office, sometimes as high as 95%. The promoter, that's Live Nation, takes about 15%. The building takes a thinner cut of the ticket itself and makes its real money on parking, beer, and premium seats. Then there's the fee everyone loves to hate. Ticketmaster's fees run about 28% on top of face, and federal regulators found they can climb past 40% in the worst cases. But here's the part most people miss. Ticketmaster doesn't keep that whole fee. A large chunk flows straight back to the venue as a facility fee, and some flows back to the artist and promoter as rebates. By many estimates, Ticketmaster pockets only about 1/3 of the fee it charges you. And the artist's deal usually isn't a flat percentage at all. It's the greater of a fixed guarantee or that 85% of the net, whichever comes out bigger. For someone selling out stadiums, the percentage always wins. So on a primary ticket, the math is almost wholesome. Most of your money genuinely reaches the artist. The so-called villain takes a modest cut. The system, weirdly, works the way you'd hope. Except you didn't buy a primary ticket. Almost nobody who paid $500 did. You bought a resale ticket, and the instant a ticket gets resold, that entire clean chain falls apart. Here's what actually happened to your $500. That seat started out cheap. Say its real face value is around $150. At that first sale, the money split the wholesome way we just watched. The artist, the venue, the promoter, Ticketmaster, and the taxman each took a cut of $150. Taylor's actual take-home on that original seat, after production, her crew, and her own costs, lands somewhere around $25. Hold on to that number. Because then a reseller bought that seat, sometimes a pro running bots, sometimes a fan who simply got lucky in the queue and relisted it for $500. The gap between the $150 they paid and the $500 you paid is about $235 of pure markup once the platform takes its share. That money reaches no one who made the show. Not Taylor, not the band, not the crew, not the venue, not even Ticketmaster. It goes to a stranger whose only contribution was clicking faster than you. And it is the single biggest slice of your ticket. Next slice, the resale platform itself. StubHub and SeatGeek charge the seller one fee and the buyer another. Stacked together, that's commonly 25 to 30% of the resale price. On your $500, call it $90. Then, the original Ticketmaster fees, baked in from that first sale, about $45. Taxes, amusement plus resale, depending on your city, around $40. The venue and promoter from the original sale, about $35. The people who actually built and ran the show, production and crew and the band, about $30. And Taylor Swift? $25, the smallest slice on the entire receipt. This is exactly why the cut exists, to follow $1 all the way down until you can see whose hand it lands in. Subscribe, because the next price we take apart will catch you off guard the same way. So let's say the quiet part out loud. On the ticket you actually bought, the ticket flipper and the resale app each made more than the artist did. Together, the middlemen who never touched that stage walked off with more than $300 of your $500. Read that again. The two parties who created nothing, the flipper and the resale app, out-earned the artist, the band, the crew, and the venue combined on the exact ticket you bought. Now hold the two tickets side by side, same $500. By primary, and about $300 reaches the artist. By resale, the only kind most fans could actually find, and that number collapses to roughly $25. Same price, same seat. The only thing that changed is how many hands it passed through before it reached you. To put the scale of this in perspective, the Eras Tour grossed about $2.1 billion across 149 shows, nearly $14 million a night. And even Taylor, on that astonishing run, took home around $360 million before tax, only about 16% of the gross, after handing out more than $197 million in bonuses to her own crew. Which brings us back to the company everyone blames. Ticketmaster's parent is Live Nation, and because it's public, we can read its actual books. Last year, it brought in $25.2 billion. You'd assume a company that infamous keeps a fortune. It kept $496 million in profit, about 2 cents of every dollar that moves through it. 2 cents. So is the villain story wrong? Not exactly. It's just aimed at the wrong room. Inside the company, the concert business barely makes money, while the ticketing arm runs an operating margin near 37%. The concerts are the loss leader. The toll booth is the business. So, what if you'd known all this before you paid? You probably still would have gone. That's the uncomfortable part. None of these cuts are illegal, or even really hidden. They're just spread across so many hands that no single one feels like the culprit. The artist looks expensive but keeps the least. The villain keeps 2 cents. And the person who actually pocketed the bulk of your money never sang a note, never loaded a truck, never sold you anything but a seat they had no intention of using. So add it all back up. $25 to the woman on the poster, $90 to the app, $45 to Ticketmaster, $40 to the city, $35 to the building, $30 to the people who actually built the show, and $235 to a stranger who just clicked faster than you. $500, and almost none of it reached the stage. Everyone took a cut. Now you know who got yours.